Hey, what up, folks? Welcome to the Film Focus page. It's me again. I'm going to be giving you my news review of Pacific Rim Uprising, the sequel to the 2013 smash. And this film, directing duties are handled by Stephen Esther Knight, and this film stars John Boyega and Scott Eastwood. Now, this film takes place 20 years after the events of the first Pacific Rim Uprising. And in this film, we see John Boyega play the character of Jake Pentecost, who was the son of Idris Elba's character in the first film. And he is basically living the Jack the Lad lifestyle. You know, he is doing whatever he can to survive, which includes stealing things, stealing robots, stealing parts from robots to make a living. And in this film, we see him get recruited by the old unit that his father works for. And he is called upon to train a new band of recruits, which is also helmed by Scott Eastwood, to take on a new Keijo threat, which is threatening to destroy the planet. Now, when I first saw the first film in 2013, I thought this film was very, very, very good. You know, I had to watch it twice. I saw it the first time and I thought, eh. And then when I saw it the second time around, I thought, this film really grew on me. And I liked it because, Guillermo del Toro is just a phenomenal director. And he's a phenomenal visual director. And if you look at his work, be it Pan's Labyrinth, Blade 2, Hellboy, his vision and his attention to detail is just impeccable. And I loved it in this film here. I liked how he directed the film. I liked the visual effects. I liked the sound effects. I liked the action sequences of the first film. I liked how, when we saw the film in IMAX, how all the action sequences, especially the fights between monsters, were done at night. And it was done in such a beautiful fashion and such a beautiful way that I just thought, this film was just awe-inspiring. And it rightly deserved acclaim for its visual effects and action sequences. And also, it had a really, really good storyline as well. Now, cut to 5 years later, we see a sequel coming. And when you do a sequel, you think that they're going to raise the bar. You think that they're going to do better on the first film. We're going to have a bigger film, bigger explosions, better storyline, better visual effects. And they're just going to build on the first film. And I can say that they failed to do that in this film. I felt that the storyline was a bit weak in parts. You end up not caring in certain aspects. And you feel that when I saw the storyline, I thought, it just went over my head. And also, you felt that they put action sequences over visual effects. Action sequences and visual effects over the good storyline. And I've always said that, you can have storyline, you can have a really, really crap storyline, but visual effects and action sequences will not cover it up. The whack storyline will still show through. And I could definitely see that in this film here. Also, I felt that, Stephen Esther Knight is a television director. This is his directorial debut, and it shows. He doesn't have, again, this is his first directorial debut. I think that he was thrown in at the deep end. I think that, Guillermo del Toro, who was a producer on this film, could have directed this film as well, but due to a scheduling conflicts, he wasn't able to do so. But when you see this film, in particular the action sequences take place in the daytime, as opposed to the nighttime where in the first film. And when you see the fight sequences, you get a sense of deja vu, like, okay, I've seen this done with the Transformers films. And in some instances, it does feel like a Transformers film. And, you feel that nothing new has been brought to this film. But with that being said, it does have a few good things going for it. John Boyega, who was also a producer on this film, I might add, he's on charismatic form, and, he's beginning to develop himself as a man of many talents. The fact that he produced this film as well as starring in it, he's on charismatic form in this film. I like the chemistry that he had between Scott Eastwood and Kaylee Spaney in this film. But I felt that where the film missed its mark was in some of its comedic moments. And John Boyega, for me, I know him more as a dramatic actor. But in this film, when he was doing comedy, some of the jokes hit their mark and quite a lot of them didn't. There were instances where, was that meant to be funny or was that not meant to be funny? But even so, some of the comedic moments didn't hit their mark. But as a film, I will say that Pacific Rim Uprising is adequate. You know what I mean? I went there to this film with low expectations and I wasn't disappointed. You know what I mean? This is a film that you can just watch just to pass the time away if you've got a few hours to spare, and it does the job. And this is a spoiler alert here. The way that this film ends, there's a post-credit scene, which kind of suggests that a third film may be done. And I hope that this film doesn't go the way of the Transformers franchise, whereas the first film was really, really good, and then the series just went on a decline after that. But with that being said, Pacific Rim Uprising is an adequate watch. It's not one that I'd add to my DVD collection, but if you've got a few hours to spare, I definitely would highly recommend it. And also, we've got Ready Player One coming out in the next few weeks, and I've got a feeling that if you want to see a science fiction spectacle, I've got a feeling that this film will show us how it's done. So I'm going to give Pacific Rim Uprising 5 out of 10. An adequate watch, based on, the charismatic performance of John Boyega and some visual effects and sound effects as well, because the film is visually imposing. So, is this one to watch if you've got a few hours to spare? Yes. Is it one to have in your DVD collection? Get it in the sales when it's a 3 for 20 offer. So, that's my review of Pacific Rim Uprising. Feel free to follow me on my Facebook and Instagram. Please subscribe to this channel. Let me know what you think about Pacific Rim Uprising, and I shall see you on the next film review. Stay blessed.